Our souls began to intertwine. Your heart of gold, so pure, divine. And I lost myself within the fire, breaking free from my desire. A heart of gold, forged to inspire. It's starfire. It's starfire.
What's going on, gangsters? Gregory Scott here. So in today's video, we're going to make some mental games, right? But in a unique way. So I want to tell you the story of how I started calisthenics, how I started my fitness journey, who got me into it, why I got into it, and all that good stuff. Now, I want to say one thing first. I don't think I'm so important that you guys care about all the little details of my life and everything that I do. I'm not that guy that's, going to show myself brushing my teeth in the morning and getting dressed. That's not me. Instead, I have a different goal for this video. What I want to do is let you see me for me instead of this ripped up guy that just works out 24/7 and was born this way. Also, through a little bit of my story and my journey, I hope you can be encouraged in yours and see an example in what it takes to be at a high level of something. In the world of social media and fitness influencers, we oftentimes only see the end product. If we look at that and if we start comparing ourselves to that end product and expecting ourselves to be there, all we're doing is setting ourselves up for failure and disappointment. Many influencers have this, carefully created blend of pictures and videos, and they paint themselves in this perfect light, and if that's the way they want to run their business, that's fine, but realistically we know this is just not how life goes. Maybe it goes that way for somebody else, but as for me, I know I'm far away from perfect life, and I can't even pretend. That's part of the reason I haven't uploaded a video in almost like 6 months now. We can become so disillusioned sometimes and so wrapped up in ourselves that we forget all of us are on a journey. We're all going through life. The lunch lady, the mailman, your brother or sister that you don't like, your parents. We're just all trying to make it and move forward. We're all seeking purpose and fulfillment, and it is not easy. It's not easy for anybody. We have to remember that. So again, through some of my journey, I hope that you can be encouraged in yours. I managed to overcome and get to a good spot with fitness and calisthenics, but there are other areas in my life where the journey is just starting or where the journey is very, very hard for me. So in this video, I'm going to talk about calisthenics and fitness, but it's important that we keep things in perspective, right? So let's get to it. So a little bit about me. My full name is Gregory Iqbal Muhammad Madula III. I grew up in a small town in Antarctica where me and my family mostly survived by eating penguin meat. Penguin meat is very nutritious, okay? I live in Houston, Texas. I just turned 23 years old in May, and I've been doing calisthenics for about 4 years now, and what a 4 years it has been. I'll tell you a little bit about my athletic background now. Growing up, I've always been an athlete. When I was little, I played football and baseball. When I went into middle school, I got into track and football, and even pole vault at one point, just because there was a girl on the team that I liked, but that's a story for another time. In high school, I quit playing football and started dabbling a little bit in jiu-jitsu. So I've always been an active kid, I've always been moving, but I never took it as serious as I could have because I spent hours and hours and hours and hours playing video games. I was a hardcore gamer. Gears of War 2 and 3, Skyrim, Call of Duty, Black Ops, that was my life. My junior year of high school, I joined the wrestling team, and that was pretty life-changing for me. I had a blast, I love the team, I love the community, I love pushing myself, but still at this time I was just chugging along, finding most of my fulfillment in video games, and around this time now, some girls. Now my whole entire life, I had always had a coach there, or my dad there, or somebody telling me what to do, but I rarely worked out on my own. So I had talent, and I had a good work ethic, but it was more like I was just going through the motion of things. So time passed by, graduation rolled around, the wrestling season ended, and all of a sudden I was just this 18-year-old kid that wasn't part of any organization, I wasn't part of any team, and I didn't have anything going for myself besides video games. This was a very different time for me. Like I said earlier, I always had a coach or a teammate or somebody there to push me, but it all ended just like that. So I didn't know what to do, I was just lost. Because of all this, I spent an entire year where I wasn't active. So I wasn't working out, I wasn't moving my body, I wasn't doing any sports. I was just basically sitting around being a potato. And this was a super low point for me. I did have a job at the moment though as a server at Buffalo Wild Wings, and I spent a lot of time there, so I ate a lot of wings, you know, garlic parmesan, honey barbecue, medium, extra wet, extra crispy. I mean, if you know, you know. Finally, after some time though, I got tired of eating wings, I got tired of being a potato, which led to my first ever fitness job at Planet Fitness. Yes, Planet Fitness, the place where they give you free pizza and free bagels. As you know, Planet Fitness isn't the best gym around, but just being there, just being around the people and being around that energy, I finally started moving my body again, and I finally started to feel alive again, just a little bit. I wasn't doing anything crazy, I was just doing like machines, I would do some push-ups and pull-ups, and I would do a lot of cardio, but I was moving again and it felt great. I worked overnight where barely anybody came to the gym, so I considered for my personal trainer tests, and also I got free pizza and bagels, so I felt like I had a great thing going. More time passed, and through a series of lemony snickets, I was fired. I was fired from Planet Fitness. It was crazy. I had never been fired before, and I felt like my whole entire world was just crashing down. I was making this serious attempt to have purpose and make something of myself, but it went horribly wrong. I didn't know what to do, and that night I went to sleep with a very heavy heart. But little did I know, the very next morning, the path would be set for me to make ultimate gains. I woke up sometime in the PM with a missed call and a voice message. So it was from 24-Hour Fitness, and they wanted me to come in that same week for a job interview. So back when I was applying for jobs, I'd apply to Planet Fitness, 24-Hour Fitness, Gold's Gyms, LA Fitness, all that stuff. But this was months ago, so this was crazy to me. Barely 24 hours had gone by since I got fired, and then 24-Hour Fitness was calling me for a job interview. It felt surreal and like it was supposed to happen. I just couldn't even believe it. Barely 24 hours and I was already interviewing another job. So I went to 24-Hour Fitness, I did the interview, I got the job, and now this is the part of the story where things get extra game. As a new employee at 24-Hour Fitness, they give you one free personal training session. So it's great to get your feet wet, to meet somebody at the gym, to put some work in. So I was all for it. I set it up right away, and the next day I would be working with a guy named David Mufasa. I told him that I was ready to work hard and that he could push me as much as he wanted to. So the date was set. I pulled up to the scene, and Mufasa just sitting there with this huge grin on his face, and he's holding a pair of parallettes. He says, "Today, we're gonna do some calisthenics." In my head, I'm thinking, calisthenics, what is he talking about? I have no idea. So we continue on. We're doing some parallel work. I bend down to grab the parallettes, and as soon as I do, I feel a surge of electricity shoot through my body. I felt strength and power from the cosmos flow into me, and I knew from that moment on, nothing would be the same. Okay, just kidding, it wasn't that dramatic, but truly, that next hour I spent with Mufasa was one of the most challenging, enlightening, and just fun hours that I spent with anybody in a long time. Anybody ever. Looking back, all we were doing was basic parallel work, but I had never used my body in that way before. I had never been challenged in that way. I had never had to focus on so many individual parts and bring them all together to create beautiful movement. Not even when I was wrestling or playing football. My arms are cramping up, my core is cramping up, my hip flexors, my back, just everything was on fire and it felt amazing. Doing calisthenics for the first time had me feeling amazing and alive. So if you think about the first time that you kissed a girl that you loved, it was like that feeling. Or if you think about the first time that you had chocolate cake, take that feeling and multiply it by 5, or multiply it by 10, and that's probably how I felt. I had a fire and a passion lit up inside of me right away. I loved challenging myself in the way that calisthenics made me feel. It was just amazing. So sadly, Mufasa was on his way out the gym. He was on to doing bigger and better things, but it was already too late. That fire, it was already lit just from that one session. From that day on, things just went 0 to 100 real quick. So you know how in the movies they have the hero and he goes through something tragic, right? And he swears he's gonna get revenge. So he just starts training like a madman. That was me. I was so fired up, and I kept thinking about how much time I had wasted. I kept thinking about that whole entire year where my body was healthy, but my mind was just holding me back. So this session, that knocked off all the cobwebs, that knocked off all the dust. The very next day, I went and ordered my own set of parallettes, and I got to work right away. The time I put into calisthenics is just insane. I started working at 24-Hour Fitness, right? So before my shift I was working out, on my lunch break I was working out, after I got off work I was working out, and even during my shift I was working out. And people would look at me like I'm crazy. I was fully immersed in it. I started watching guys like Marcus Jennings, aka Superhuman Yogi. I saw Frank Bajano's epic video with the typewriter pull-ups and his insane pulling power. I started watching those Battle of the Bar athletes and how they had those crazy dynamics and crazy statics, and it just fueled me. I just wanted to be on that level. My Super Saiyan training, as I call it, where I was just going hard almost every single day, lasted for about 1 to 2 years while I was still at 24-Hour Fitness. I achieved many of my fitness goals in that time, and I had no intention of slowing down. Eventually, that fire and passion that I started with calisthenics, it spread to all other areas of my life, and I'm so grateful for that. My time at 24 Hour Fitness ended eventually, but then that just opened up the next door, then the next door, then the next door, until here I am today, still figuring things out, still learning, but still with the same mission. My training now is a lot different from when I started. It's a lot more calculated and it's much smarter, but I'm still going calisthenics strong, and that is how it all started. Now that was about 4 years of growth condensed into a couple of paragraphs. I never talked about the struggles. I never talked about how I would go into the corner of the gym and work out where nobody could see me because I was self-conscious. I never talked about how there was a period of constant frustration and I would get so disappointed and angry that my pull-ups were so much weaker than my push-ups. I never talked about any of my injuries or what it was like training through heartbreak or anything like that, but all of it happened. I wanted to share this story because, like I said earlier, people will look at me or just anybody that's had success in fitness and they'll start making comparisons to themselves. They'll ask me questions like, how long did it take to get good at calisthenics? How long did it take you to planche? How long did it take you to get shredded? And I never like to answer these questions because it doesn't matter. I was 19 years old working out for hours and hours and hours at a time, and that was the biggest thing I had going on in my life. For you, it might be different. Maybe you have kids, maybe you're running a business, maybe you're in college, maybe you don't even have an athletic background like I did and you have to start completely from scratch. There's just so many variables that are different, and you just have to do the best that you can with what you've been given. Don't compare yourself to me or others, but instead just observe, just look at their path, look what they did, see what's useful, see what you can absorb, apply it to your own path, and pave your own way. That's how you make true gains. And with that being said, I'm gonna give you 3 things, the top 3 things that I attribute to me being where I'm at today. Now, of course, there are more than 3 factors that got me to where I'm at today, but if I was to list them all, this video would be 3 hours long. So these 3 I think are very important. These 3 I want you to internalize, and if you can, you'll be on the path to ultimate gains. The first attribute you need if you really want this is passion. Passion is one of the greatest driving forces in the world. Passion can make somebody die for what they believe in. I mean, look at Jesus. When I first started working out, I can honestly say it wasn't to get ripped, it wasn't to get girls, it wasn't to be the biggest guy in the room or anything like that. I worked out because I loved it. I loved challenging myself, I loved pushing myself, I just loved the way that calisthenics made me feel. Because of that, it was never a chore to work out. I never dreaded working out. I was never like, I have to work out again. I was excited to work and I wanted to do it. When you have passion about something, you always have the upper edge. If you're doing something just for the straight end result, to get girls, to get shredded, to get a six-pack, stuff like that, all of that is going to fade away. Now let me be clear, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this. If you just want the straight end result and you're gonna use calisthenics to get there, that's fine. I'm just saying you simply won't take it as serious as somebody that has their heart into it. You might still stick with it and that's great, but somebody training with heart and somebody training with passion versus somebody that's training just to get abs is entirely, completely different. If you're passionate about something, that fire, it continues to burn bright. That's why I train hard then, that's why I train hard now, and that's why I'm gonna train hard 100 years from now. And again, I'm not saying you have to be passionate about calisthenics. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, if you are passionate about it, then you started right where I was, and one day you can be where I'm at and more. The second attribute you need that is so critically important is the heart of an overcomer. And this is not just fitness, this is for all of life. It goes without saying, we all experience hardships, we all experience struggles, we all experience tough times. But how you react to those tough times, how you react to those struggles, that's what defines you. We have to ask ourselves, are we the people that let those struggles break us down and make us depressed and make us fall? Maybe we are. Maybe we do have that period where we're knocked down. But if you have the heart of an overcomer, you will always rise again. In my 4 or 5 years of training, you couldn't possibly believe that everything just went perfect all the time. At times I struggled, at times I was disappointed, at times I would look around at other people that were way above me and think that I would never get to that level. At times I was going through heartbreak, but no matter what, I kept going. I will never let myself quit, and that's because I have the heart of an overcomer. All that matters is that you don't give up on yourself, no matter what. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, it never is, but we keep moving forward always, and that's for all areas of your life. Let me tell you my vision for everybody that watches this channel and wants to be part of the family. In the Overcomer Nation, we overcome every challenge by helping each other, by spreading the knowledge, and by encouraging each other. That's what we're there for. We're all a family. We're all on this journey together. It starts with fitness, right, but then it spreads. If you spend a whole entire year trying to unlock your planche, trying to get a 10-second planche, what's to say that you can't spend a whole year repairing your relationship with a family member? What's to say you couldn't spend a whole year working on your small business? What's to say you couldn't spend a whole entire year working on the parts of yourself that are sinful and destructive? You can. Fitness truly is just a copy and a shadow of what's really possible when you have the heart of an overcomer. If you really get it and if you really start to understand, you can even start to change your mind and your spirit. That's the real important stuff right there, but we'll get to that another time. And number 3, the last thing, but certainly not the least, God. You know, I have to give him all the glory. We got to give him all the praise, because without him, I wouldn't even be here. The reason that I'm making this video right now, the reason that I have a camera and 2 cameras, the reason that I'm talking right now, the fact that I have a sound mind and a sound body, it's all because of him. Every single breath that I take is because he's allowed it. So the fact that I can do handstands and planches and manifestos is truly amazing, and I thank my Heavenly Father for it. The last thing I want to say is this. All of us are on a journey. None of them are easy, but we can overcome. We just have to want it, arm ourselves with the right knowledge, surround ourselves with the right people, and finally, exercise the heart of an overcomer. That's how we do it, and we can. Alright? So that's it. I hope you got something good out of this video. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much. I have some fresh games uploading soon. I'm back on YouTube, stronger than ever. And as always, have a gameful day. I don't know what that was.
I've been through hell and back, and the flow still cold.